Yes, that very thorny issue of federalism, devolution of power, the stand of the governors on this matter, and the stand of the central government on this matter, most times appears to bring, the principal actors at loggerheads, or so it appears, because definitely the central government will be very reluctant to, cede or give up the kind of power and influence it controls, maybe for obvious or non-obvious reasons. But yes, indeed, the Governors Forum, which you had, has been very vocal about the issue of federalism and, power mostly residing in the states. You've also mentioned the fact that you've seen how the German model actually works. But the very sensitive question here is that, policies, philosophies, and ideas are operated by individuals. And if there's a difference of opinion between the individuals who drive these ideas, then there's also bound to be a clash of interests between those individuals. And since you've been a very vocal proponent of federalism as the chairman of the Governors Forum, what is the nature of your relationship with the president at the moment?
Well, it's cordial. I don't think that there are issues between the president and I. It's a matter of, like you said, principles. It's a matter of the fact that we, as chairman of the Governors Forum, you're bound to defend the views of the governor, of the governors. And sometimes the federal government may not be happy about those views that you hold, but then I assume that the president understands that if I were not to be the chairman of the Governors Forum, then I won't be the voice that he will be hearing. He will be hearing somebody else's voice.
If you are not the chairman of the Governors Forum, but even before you became the chairman of the Governors Forum, you used to be very vocal about these things.
That's my nature. I like to defend my views. I like to hold my views strongly. If you fault me on my views and I think you're right, I will cede that authority to you. And I will say to you, oh, you're wonderful, you're right. But if not, I think that I try to defend my views. And most of those views are patriotic views. They are views that have to do with, should we continue the way we're continuing with in Nigeria? Shouldn't we run a more effective and productive economy that provides opportunities to everybody and creates employment for everybody? If we say our GDP is growing, why is it not growing in people's pocket? Are we just churning out the numbers because we want to churn out the numbers, or are the numbers real?
Yes.
And all that. These are views that when I speak out, then people are not happy about it. But unfortunately, I'm born to speak out.
Okay, and you think it does not translate into personal animosity?
No.
Between you and
the president. No.
Well, that's pretty encouraging. But since you've been a champion of federalism, then what is your position on the issue of state police? Do you think it is proper? Do you think it's necessary? Do you think it's ideal?
I hope I told you I'm the chairman of the Governors Forum. My view will be the view of the governors when we meet. We have not met again. We had met earlier, and then there are those who feel we should have a second look at it. We tend to have a second look at it in this month of September. When we do, you will hear the views of the Governors Forum, and I will be speaking on their behalf.
Okay, so even if the view of the majority does not necessarily agree with
I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice.
Yes, that's why I put the question to you. As the individual.
I don't have an individual views anymore. Once you are in that position of being the chairman of the Governors Forum, you can't be having your individual views, because you must ensure that what you carry is the views of the greater majority of the governors.
Now, how are you dealing with a very peculiar situation in your state? Remember, one of the ethnic groups, one of the most sensitive, I'm using that adjective, sensitive, because over the years the Ogonis have actually been in the forefront of activism because their land has been so degraded, and recently they were talking of, if not in fact declaring independence from Nigeria and from Rivers State. How would you deal with a situation like that?
Don't give prominence to people who don't even live in Nigeria. Ogoni people never declared independence. Ogoni people never The man who's made that comment does not even live in Nigeria, he lives overseas. So how do you give him prominence over nothing? He remains an entity of Nigeria and part of the River State. They have 3 local government areas in River State, and they have never in any way decided to secede.
Yes, of course, but I mean, if someone makes a comment like that, a remark like that, it is bound to create ideas
Where do you
in
come
people's
from?
minds.
Where do you come from?
Benue.
So if you wake up now and say Benue has declared independence, I begin to worry about that. Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is to declare independence?
Depending on the level of influence I have in that state.
The person has no. What's the influence of the person? The person who spoke, who lives in America.
Well, the bottom line being that, I mean, if he has a very cogent, a very plausible argument, then some people. Okay, ideas actually start like that.
Let's assume now that somebody in River State says, "Oh, we've been deprived of our resources and all that." I, Mr. James, therefore decide that River State will secede. Then you begin to worry about that. What about enforcement? I mean, what about implementation, not enforcement? How will he implement that his decision? Okay,
so in physical terms, you do not have a problem like that in your state.
Since that comment was made, haven't you been here in Nigeria?
Yes, of course. The bullets have not started flying yet. I mean, we've not had a Biafran situation.
You're hoping for bullets?
Biafra-like situation.
You're hoping for bullets? Let's wait.
No, it is not my hope. I just asked a question. I just raised a question.
Let's wait and see.